Okay.
This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Add Cat before we go here. All right.
We're here.
And that's the cutout there. They said that we're here. And I guess we're live. We're here. Stop.
We are?
We're yeah, we're live. We're actually live. This is,
Wow.
Yeah, we went live right on time. That never happens. But we're trying because guess what, guys? It's a Steve-less episode. Steve's not here, man.
Once again, something major happens and he ain't around.
And that's garbage for Zoe Stark.
No, so yeah, dude, here's the thing. We said it last week for those of you who were watching at home and are familiar with the program. Every time Steve goes on a cruise or on vacation and can't have access to the internet, some shit goes down. And this was the thing out of everything that I know. He's talked about waiting for the debut of the Wyatt Six. And it happened on Monday night, and he's in like fucking Cabo or something. I don't know.
He's in Epcot.
Oh, he's in Epcot. Okay, yeah, they have TVs at Epcot.
He's with his daughter. He's not going to be watching wrestling.
Okay, she's not a wrestling fan.
Yeah, but yeah, so Mitch, so the first time the first time Roman Reigns got leukemia, he was away internationally, could not get the information until he got back, his phone had like 20 million text messages when he got back. And the second time was when Vince McMahon resigned.
So Steve just likes to go away on very important things.
Yeah, so every time, and like out of everybody on the show, we're all like Bray Wyatt fans and everything. I think Steve is the biggest Bray Wyatt family fan.
And he'll probably, I have a feeling he's going to watch back this episode and be upset that I'm not as over the moon about this as he is. And we'll get to that because it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just I have, let's just call them reservations about what the ramifications of last night was. We'll get into that.
Right. But yeah, he's going to be pissed. So when he does come back, just everybody fair warning, the first 20 minutes of that show, we'll be recapping this again.
Oh yeah, next week we'll definitely be talking about this again.
Yeah,
he'll have his bullet points because now he has extra time.
He'll be ready. Right, he's gonna have extra time to prepare and tell him why it makes sense. Now here's the thing: I don't
PowerPoint presentation.
Can I ask Vince something?
Right. What's going on, little man?
Real quick, go ahead. What?
Does that include me when I said Zoe Stark on the show?
Yes, it was on there live on the show. Go.
Yes. Absolutely, it was.
You can get him about Zoe Stark when he comes back. Okay?
Yeah, you can zing. He can zing Steve now because you're not going to get kicked out. But yes, you can zing him again next week.
I will love to my mom go to jail for Facebook.
Oh, we're not going to put her in Facebook jail for this.
I haven't been in Facebook jail in a while. Thank you very much.
So I've been put in charge. I have the keys. I have the keys to the back end here, and I'm going to try and do this. I haven't done this before.
Hey,
it's the very first one, and it's a threefer. And I just want to point out, as I was telling Mitch, I think David definitely prepares for the show earlier than I do because this first one came in at 8:23. Molly Holly is the Mary Lou Retton, although Mary Lou Rotten would be great. Like she could be related to Ian Rotten. As a former two-time women's champion. I like this. I don't know where Mary Lou Retton, was she a gymnast or was she a figure skater?
Mary Lou Retton was an Olympic gymnast.
Okay, I'm sensing.
So she was trained under the same person that Nadia Comaneci was, Bela Karolyi.
Oh, okay, yeah, Bella. I mean, yeah, that's the guy. Don't go to the doctor, just go to Bella.
Yeah, no, not Larry Mercer.
Yeah. No, let's see.
Mary
He's watching
Lou
the
had
Stanley
that
Cup.
classic hair.
He really, yeah. Bella Karolyi had an iconic mustache. He's also watching the Stanley Cup Finals. I wonder if Florida's going to take this one home. We'll see. They're close. And
I'm
Boston
not at the Stanley
Celtics-
Cup anything that the Rangers are gone. Sorry.
Yeah, Boston Celtics, 18-time NBA champions. That seemed like a foregone conclusion after game number 1.
Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Well, they pull away from their tie with the Lakers for world titles, so they're for now considered the best team of all time or whatever. Ba 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 ba, et cetera.
The New Yorker in me cannot agree with that. Sorry.
No, listen. I'm disgusted saying it. Don't worry. It's like you guys, still not the Bulls.
I'm gonna look. I'll go gem on somebody's ass. How about that?
Just stick a friggin' fork in the back of their head.
Exactly.
And one from the other Dave, not David, but Dave A. Dave still, yeah, so is Chad Gable actually dead or is it work? Okay, can we I guess we're going to dip right into this.
Oh my God, they killed Chad. Okay.
We're going to dip right into this. Because
bastard.
last night, for those of you, yeah, so, oh my God, they killed Chad Gable.
That was a meme today. I almost peed my pants.
So, yeah, for those of you who didn't watch Raw last night, or maybe those of you who are just looking for a recap, at the end of the show, we hear the Yeet song and everybody's bouncing to the Yeet. And the power go, and you know what that means, right? It's not just a tease, and it's not just another promo video with a QR code. This was the real deal. All hands on. They were teasing it throughout the night. You could see the puppets, like the actual hand puppets in the background in some scenes. There was a big fucking thing in the crowd that looked like a big box with a curtain over it. And you're like, anytime there's a thing that's in the stands that shouldn't be there, some shit's going down. That's just a wrestling trope. So it was kind of, people were prepped for it. And by right at the end of the show, all lights go down. They start playing the spooky music. And then Nikki Cross comes out in her new doll mask and outfit. And there's
like
a lantern.
The chick from The Ring.
Yeah, there's a lantern on the stage. She crawls towards it like the chick from The Ring. She signals to the cameraman to follow her. And as the cameraman goes around,
the camera work was astonishing.
I mean, it's way better than Kevin Dunn's goofy bullshit. So, so what ends up happening is the cameraman goes around, and they didn't fuck with this cameraman like everybody else gets got, but except for this guy. So he's going around assessing the chaos that is now backstage.
Stu. Who's gonna hurt Stu? Right?
Yeah, it's the guy. If it actually was Stu, who was John Cena's personal camera guy when he came on stage, then yes, leave the man alone. He goes through. There's spooky smoke. 90% of the Raw roster is face down, unconscious, and I don't know if it's from spooky smoke, like when the Ultimate Warrior came out in WCW and knocked out people with spooky smoke, or if it was from them actually attacking them. And then there's like a bunny rabbit guy, and there's this one and that one, and it's all these NXT jabronis dressed up in Halloween costumes. I'm kidding. Steve's gonna kill me. But no, really, they're they're not doing anything. They're just.
I'm gonna go gem on your ass in a second for that one.
They're standing there pointing creepily. One's crisscross applesauce and sitting down, and they're all kind of looking. You know what I mean? They're all just standing there. They're just standing there because everybody. All right, Dave was. Where's Dave's comment? Everybody else was dead. They were dead. There was one guy with a blood splatter behind his head, like he got shot in the head. He got shot in the head.
But there was no
Chad
blood.
Gable's just dead. Chad Gable's covered in blood. He's dead.
Man, anybody that just came into the show right now is just confused as all fuck.
Canonically, in the WWE universe, the Wyatt Six murdered 35 people last night. And nobody called the cops.
Well, Baron Corbin murdered Rey Mysterio a couple of years ago in a Money in the Bank match. We still haven't had that happen.
Seth Rollins pulled out Rey Mysterio's eyeball, and now he has an eyeball again. I don't know. But here's my point. This was the issue I started to have with Bray Wyatt's Fiend character when it first came out, is that it was as an inherently overpowerful supernatural being that was going to take over. And then immediately they had him lose in a DQ. And so, but here's the thing. Now that they've been positioned like this, they kind of have to be given that they have to be given a lot of early wins, and they have to look credible. But at the end of the day, it's like it's Bo Dallas and fucking Joe Gacy. You know what I mean? Like, what are we like? Like, we can't give a Bray Wyatt push to guys who are not Bray Wyatt, and I'm just concerned about where this is going, because now they've established that they're this powerful. How does Uncle Howdy not beat Damian Priest in like 6 seconds because some spooky bullshit happens? You know what I mean? Like, how do we temper their power level is over 9,000, to use a Dragon Ball Z reference. How do we get this down to where, like, when you're wrestling them, they don't just throw a fucking fireball at you? You know what I mean? Like, they just took over the whole show, and now what? All right, I'll stop. Mitch, you're the
they took over the whole gorilla position. Let's be fair.
Yes, but then everybody was dead. They were killed. And then certain people, like Braun Strowman, had to put on Twitter that he chased somebody out of the building, so he wasn't there. Like, they have certain people who they don't want involved in this storyline saying they weren't in the building at the time. But, like, everybody in the world got hit, like...
but Braun Strowman was in the video laying down, though.
Yeah, he was literally in the corner with
Braun Strowman.
Or was it Braun Breaker? I don't know. They have too many guys with similar names.
No, it was Braun Strowman because it happened because
did Braun Breaker leave?
Yes, Braun Breaker.
Okay, so it was a different Braun. So
Braun Strowman was laid out backstage along with Chad Gable,
Luke
and everybody else.
Dominic, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Liv Morgan was seen.
Damn, they murdered
everybody. They just right. So okay, so did they assault everybody and knock them out? Which means that the women's wrestlers attacked the women's. Did the men attack the women's wrestlers, or was it Spooky Smoke knockout gas? What are we?
Well, it could have been Spooky Smoke because one of them had a gas mask on.
Maybe that's it. Okay, maybe, but still, like, it was a legit horror movie scene, and now everybody's dead.
Am I supposed to be scared?
And they just go to the. But what I'm saying is, they go, okay, everybody's dead. We're here, and then they cut to credits, and now it's like, okay, well, so when we come back next week, is everybody just gonna have like they're gonna look like Civil War wounded? They're gonna have arm in the sling, and one guy's got a bandage around his head, and one's got an eye patch, and somebody's got a drum and a fife. You know what? Like. Where do we go? Mitch, Mitch, your turn.
Well, I was just going to say, they're going to, Otis placed Chad Gable there, so it looked like Chad Gable was murdered by them, but it was actually Otis.
Oh.
It's like a little betrayal.
He's smart.
How do you, what was your takeaway from this? Are you up or down on it? Are you in the middle? What are you feeling?
Well, as I didn't really get to see much of Bray Wyatt other than the tribute video,
right?
And as much as Steve talked about him every time I was with Steve, it was cool to see, but it didn't have the same feeling that like when I was watching the like documentary about it. It just didn't feel the same. It didn't give you like those chills because you knew Bray Wyatt was about to say something. And he was just gonna make you feel things. I was waiting for something to be spoken.
And can I just say, like, the fact there's the lantern. Fucking Bo Dallas is wearing the glove, the hurt and heal glove. I'm just like, we're not there yet, but I have that feeling in my stomach from when we're like 3 episodes away from Randy Orton saying Bray Wyatt's burning in hell like he did with Eddie Guerrero. Like, I just don't want them to. The way they handled Eddie's death was so bad, and I don't want them to do it again.
But in a different perspective, though, we don't have Vince McMahon in charge anymore. Like we did with how they handled Eddie Guerrero's death. That was Vince McMahon's storyline stuff that nothing was left unturned, and we all know the stupid shit he has said and done over the years in regards to wrestlers. I don't think Hunter is that invested in destroying Bray's memory.
God, no.
In regards to that.
Yeah, I just mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like, there's something about, like, what's that song? Leave the Memories Alone. Like,
I'm scared. I'm on the same point with you. I'm kind of scared as to where I was excited to see it, but I'm scared too as to where this could go because especially of who the participants are. So I'm with you on that, but I'm kind of excited to see where this could possibly go.
Oh no, listen, I'm curious. I'm just, I have reservations, as we said. Yeah, I see wow, this really is a high school student. Go ahead on.
Okay, so
gonna be a junior.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah. So basically, I was scrolling on Instagram, and Redbeard, Eric Rowan, he actually posted a video of a so apparently it's not supposed to be a rabbit, it's supposed to be like a goat. He like posted a video and it was glitching and there was like, and it just says HEL and then like 2 like star symbols and then dot and the comments are turned off.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be. I think help me because one of the signs said "help me" when
The
when they were
sledgehammer
walking
said
back.
help me.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a tribute to the Bludgeon Brothers, which he was a part of with Luke Harper.
Cool. I mean, listen. It's all very cool and it's very, but at the same time, I'm just.
Can they just attack Dominic Mysterio only, please? I don't like him.
But can I just the idea and Eric, I will.
This man in the WWE right now.
Yeah, Eric, I'll get to you in 1 second. The idea of now we just have Bo Dallas taking the place of Bray Wyatt kind of sticks in my craw in a way I don't care for. But again, I'm willing to. Yeah, I don't see. That's the thing. I don't believe. But you know what I do? I might not believe, but.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo.
He's gonna come to NXT tonight. He's coming to NXT tonight.
He was on NXT and he was immediately thrown out of a battle royal by former AEW superstar Frankie Kazarian. It's a weird world we live in.
Been playing this song all weekend, especially since the Hardy Boys the other day.
The Hardys are now officially, both Hardys are back in TNA. That's cool.
Joe Hendry, your favorite wrestler ever.
I remember watching Joe Hendry years ago in ICW and
The singing professional
DPW,
wrestler.
like a bunch of indies, and like he was always, I don't know, man, I was waiting for him. I'm glad he broke out. Getting back to the Raw thing though, Dave, hey, do they keep it on Raw or do they go to SmackDown too? So they might go to SmackDown too because it sounds. The thing I was reading online says they intend for the storyline to expand over multiple, like crossover, and not just one story. It's not like they're only feuding with one person, like just Jey Uso or whatever. I'm using that as an example. They're going to be integrating the Wyatt Six with multiple feuds, and I think the people who were laid out, the Judgment Day, Braun Strowman, whoever else was knocked out. They're all going to be the Chad Gable thing is going to be involved in this somehow. Now here was. And I believe this is the rationale. When the Fiend attacked somebody, their personality changed. So Judgment Day, this could be the way that they lead toward their breakup from Damian Priest. And the Chad Gable thing, they could, there's something's going to happen with that because there's speculation online that Otis, I almost just called him the fat guy because I didn't remember his name. But Otis would feel guilty. Like they would all feel guilty for leaving Chad Gable behind. And then maybe there's some sort of like redemption thing where I don't know. I think he's better off as a heel right now. So, but yeah, I think there's plans for those stories to intersect. And then again, the people who weren't there, like Braun Breaker and some others, they made it specific that they left the building before that happened so that they were not involved.
Jey Uso pieced out and wrote on Twitter that they're back. They can have the Fireflies.
They can have them back. Yeah. They're yours now, please.
Like,
yeah, that's what his tweet said. He goes, I forfeit the Fireflies. That's okay. You can have them.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but also,
you know what? I thought we still. I mean, I assume they're heels, right?
Listen, the Fiend was intended to be a heel as well, and then he went up against Seth Rollins, and everybody cheered for him instead. So who fucking knows?
Let's say it was a, like they're intended to be baby faces, and then you have man, lose my train of thought. This sucks. I lost it.
That happens to me too. Only usually it happens when I'm smoking. So I don't know.
I remember.
You got it. All right, he's good.
they're having, they're going to be presented as baby faces. If that was the case, or we knew from the start that they would be baby faces, Jey Uso is so over right now that he could be like a de facto freaking leader of that stable, because remember when we all talked about how the speculation of who was in the group, but there's nobody that shows they're going to be the leader. Obviously they're going to have Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas, but he was never considered a big name or even a name.
Yeah, he never really made that jump. Like he was an early NXT champion. And then I feel like they brought him up too early because they debuted him in a Royal Rumble or the week before. Like he
what
won.
Helps is that he sounds like Bray.
Yeah, but that's
he's just not as over, and he never really was. And,
yeah.
That's my issue. Like production, it was amazing. I thought really cool looking, and I guess my only possible iffiness comes from who's in the group. Like Joe Gacy. I'm sorry. I never got into his character in NXT. He was, cult leader, but I felt like he was the Wish version of Bray Wyatt.
Right. And then they just were like, oh, who else is spooky? Dexter Lumis is spooky. Eric Rowan will hire him back because he was, one of the original guys. And then Nikki Cross is kind of spooky.
Sense because of, that. It's funny, though, if you really think about it, it's really funny about Nikki Cross because she was the one that confronted Alexa about being
right. She was the one that whispered
spell.
Yeah, she like whispered the secret or whatever it was. So a couple more from. Go ahead.
Background story wise though, Nikki Cross when she started NXT was with Sanity or whatever. She's with the exception of like when she was tag teaming with Alexa Bliss and they were trying to make her like relevant even though she wasn't, like her persona wasn't, or when she was Nikki ASH, she's always been the out there goth different girl. So her personality I think fits really well. And like it says, if you played all the QR codes, like you deserted us, you left us, you treated us like crap, you fired us. That's what this whole rescue is supposed to be about for this new Wyatt group. They were the dejected reach. It's like a modern day version of like, I guess like what Kurgan and the Oddities were supposed to be. With a different twist of it being, an alliance, an homage to Bray at the same time.
Right, but here's the thing: the Oddities were a mid card at best act, and they were treated as such, and they didn't really win titles. If this is a mid card act, they really just came in like the fucking NWO and cleaned house, and now
Okay, but in all defense here, with the exception of Kevin Nash, when the Outsiders first debuted, Razor Ramon was a mid-carder. He was Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion. He was never a heavyweight champion.
That's true, but some of these guys are not even like. Was Joe Gacy even on the main roster?
Razor is like much higher than all of these guys combined.
Okay, so wait, when you saw Sean Waltman get a 1-2-3 over Razor Ramon on that Monday Night Raw, could you have ever predicted 20 years later what he would have become? That he's one of the only few people that is a three-time WWE Hall of Famer?
Not at all.
Yeah. Also, because even in WCW, he was like, "Oh, their little friend X-Pac too." Like it was just
right. But like the New Age Outlaws, when Road Dogg Jesse James was originally the roadie for Jeff Jarrett,
jabronis.
Like singing "I Can't Wait to Be Alone with My Baby Tonight." You ever think that he was going to be part of one of the greatest tag teams of all time in the New Age Outlaws? It depends on how. Like, yes, I agree. These guys can't be going after title hunts next week. They need to slowly progress this. Or this needs to tell the story like how Roman Reigns has been telling the story for the past X amount of years. Not saying Cody's story because Cody's story is a little effed up sometimes.
We'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
But I'm saying, how like the long story of like how Roman Reigns told this whole chapter thing for the last X amount of years as the champion, let him work his way up. especially since when Roman did win that title,
It was from Bray.
he took it from Bray. Work this up to this whole thing of like, the Wyatt family getting it back from Roman Reigns or from anybody from the bloodline a year from now.
Maybe, yeah. So here's a couple comments from Dave threw in a minute ago. Interesting how they're called the Wyatt Six and spelled SICK with an X, 6 at the end, so 6. Since they're only 5 for now. Now the rumor or the speculation is that the 6th one is Bray, and he's represented by the Lantern because obviously he can't be there. But Dave's further comment.
That's where I agree with.
Alexa will make them more credible. If she ends up being it's almost a decade at this point. Alexa Bliss is Sister Abigail. Is she finally she came out with black blood on her head a couple years ago and somehow she wasn't Sister Abigail after that? That's some hereditary shit. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Papa Shango gave it to her. What can I tell you?
I feel like with Alexa Bliss, she's going. I definitely agree with the adding, someone that's credible. And with that being said, I think Alexa is going to be the Rhea to Bo's Judgment Day. I mean, to
yes, we get what. Yeah, I get what
I'm
you're
saying,
saying. I think Eric's having a stroke, Kat. You've had one. Are these the symptoms? Oh.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I've been off for several days. Actually.
Oh man, yeah. No, we get it. Like she could be the Rhea Ripley, and then Captain Howdy could be the Dominic, and then like they have a more of a relationship. I think, dude.
I meant it as like she's like Rhea was basically the de facto leader.
Oh yes, I see what you're saying.
Judgment Day, and Alexa could be that person.
Oh, she would be way more credible if she was the leader and Captain Howdy was like her second in command. I would be way more on board with that. I think that would be, probably the way to go.
What's interesting though is going to be who their first major target is and who they're going to attack specifically, not just like a bunch of people randomly, because I don't even know if they're going to even acknowledge like Chad Gable's bloody face or whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, how are we gonna? That's what I want to see next week is how they address this, because that's really just my question now. Because they have been presented as the most powerful thing in WWE since the Fiend, since the Undertaker. Like the Undertaker would take out a bunch of people in one show, but I think this is somewhat unprecedented that the entire roster, minus like 3 or 4 guys that got in their rental cars early, all got messed up. Like, that's crazy.
I have a quick question. Before Bray became the Fiend, like he was the Bray Wyatt and then he became the Fiend, like after he lost a bunch as Bray? Or
Yeah. So Bray Wyatt was originally a character with the Wyatt family.
Okay.
With a lot of different other members. So it had like Eric Rowan, who we're talking about, Luke Harper, Brody Lee, and Braun Strowman was a member of the actual Wyatt family. Then the Wyatt family kind of broke up. He was tag teaming with Matt Hardy for a little while, and they were the tag team champions. And then the Fiend was, I want to say, like his 3rd or 4th reconstruction of himself. And started in 2019 and went pretty much through COVID up until that first WrestleMania when they came back after COVID. And then he was having a really hard time after Brody Lee had died. Took some time off. He was let go by the WWE. Came back as the last Bray Wyatt that we saw. It was Bray Wyatt. It wasn't the Fiend. And he was working again on this brand new character development after he had finished the fighting with LA Knight. Uncle Howdy was
right, the blacklight match and all that, yeah. Right,
and then it was supposed to be that WrestleMania. It was supposed to be him and Bobby Lashley, but Bray got sick. Like he had COVID, and then he ended up having cardiac complications from the COVID, which is what led to his death.
and
He
and
forgot his ventilator in the car.
Correct.
And he took
Yeah.
a nap.
yeah, he took a nap without his. He had a ventilator that he was supposed to use while he was
The
sleeping.
defibrillator.
Yeah. Oh, it was a defib. It was. Oh, I didn't know if it was one because like
It was
almost
a
with CPAP
yeah.
or something.
So his heart
Jeez.
was. He was going. So the machine was supposed to go off and actually redo it. So
Almost like a
JoJo
pacemaker.
heard JoJo heard the alarms going off, but didn't think anything of it because he normally had the defibrillator and it would take care of it. He left it in the car after he went to a doctor's appointment that morning. So after 10 minutes of JoJo still hearing the alarm going off, she stopped with the kids and went upstairs to go see what was going on, and he was already in full cardiac arrest. So he brought the
Jeez.
defibrillator with him to the doctor that morning to have the doctor check and
Like,
make sure
yeah,
it
calibrate.
was
Yeah.
working. Played with his kids, did everything as normally, went to go take
Jesus
his
Christ.
nap because he was supposed to take his kids to one of their events or
He was
something
supposed
that
to
a
pick
thing
up- He was supposed to pick up the kids from school.
from school or something. Yeah. So he
That's
just figured he'd go
tragic.
crash.
Man.
Not his kids
For a
from
little while.
JoJo, his kids from school.
Right. Oh.
Right. So thought he was just gonna go crash for a little while or whatever. And like I said,
He-
JoJo was doing stuff all over the house and heard it, but didn't think anything of it because that happens.
Mm.
But
Right.
when it didn't stop, she got concerned and went up there.
And just so you know, like you may or may not go back and watch Bray Wyatt stuff if there's compilations or whatever. But if you just so you, when he had to reinvent himself, it was never really his fault. They always booked him like shit. Like he was built up as the original Bray Wyatt with the rocking chair and the lantern and the guys behind him in the sheep masks. He had this big elaborate. So the character is canonically from like the swamps of Louisiana. WrestleMania 30 was in Louisiana. It was in New Orleans in the Superdome. He had this big elaborate entrance with the band that was playing his original theme song, playing it live. And they were wearing like, all very appropriate costumes and stuff. And it was this big elaborate entrance and everybody had their fucking shit out and was like sheep. Like I was there. It was a scene.
wow.
And then do you know what happened? The very next song that was played, and fucking John Cena ran over him. They're singing. He's got the whole world in his hands. They're cheering for him. He does the spider walk thing for the first time. The whole place goes apeshit. They're there for it. They're like, this is the moment. This is the crowning of a new potential main eventer. Bray Wyatt is going to put away John Cena and cement himself as a potential future world champion. And then he fucking lost in like 10 minutes.
Jesus.
Like they just fucking jobbed his ass out to John Cena. That was rotten.
That's the big problem with a lot of matches with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, though.
Oh yeah, they did. Well then, listen, I like him a lot. He the only real miss I can think of is if he was the one that suggested the projections of the worms and shit on the ring at the WrestleMania in Orlando.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
When he fought Finn Balor.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
I thought it was against Finn Balor.
No,
that
it was
was that was SummerSlam, baby.
Oh no, because he
But
did
that probably
That was
also
Finn's pumpkin face.
remember they were supposed to have Pumpkin Face versus Sister
Yes.
Abigail. And then they,
Yeah.
thank God somebody got injured. Like that would have been a disaster.
That
they
would've
decided-
been god awful.
Mitchell, at first they decided that Sister Abigail, like after years of speculation, they're like, Sister Abigail's coming. And then it was just Bray Wyatt and Drag, and they were going to have Bray Wyatt and Drag wrestle wrestle the demon, Finn Balor, and Finn Balor had jack-o'-lantern face paint, and it just looked like the worst creator wrestlers you've ever seen in your life. And then one or the other of them got some kind of injury or illness, and they had to cancel the match.
Thank
And
God.
what could have been? Yeah, because that was he hadn't dialed in what he
That
wanted
was
to
when
do yet.
actually the meningitis was going around the
Yes.
WWE. You're right, because Roman Reigns had it too.
Yes, yeah, that was a time when a lot of people went down sick. But anyway, long story short, yeah, he always kind of got the short end of the stick booking wise, which kind of led to all of these reinventions. Go ahead, Eric.
I remember one specific thing was Hell in a Cell against Seth. That was pretty bad for the Fiend.
That was the one where they had the disqualification in a
What,
Hell
with
in a
Seth
Cell
Rollins
match.
in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia was the one where they actually had the Fiend win. This was the one
Yeah.
before it where they
Okay.
had the Hell in a Cell and then
And the chair
Um,
shot.
Oh,
the
yes,
chairs,
yes.
the
okay.
chairs,
And
the chairs,
and
Oh
the
my
giant
gosh.
hammer or whatever.
the match that
The
was
giant
so
mallet.
had the crowd hated this match so badly that AEW hadn't even shown an episode of Dynamite yet. They might have had one or two events, and the crowd was chanting for AEW during the main event of a WWE show in 2019.
Yep.
That was, and they've course corrected, but it took them from 2019 until about 2022 or 2023. Like it was a long, all the changes that have been happening are a long time of coming.
It took getting rid of McMahon.
Well, yeah. Like he was in the captain's chair. That's what happens. We got time. I know we don't necessarily have to wrap up in an hour. Oh geez, yes, my least favorite thing ever. Hey, how about a brightly red painted chain link fence? So the whole cage is red chain link, and then, as Ryan so aptly put it on YouTube, the red light for the entire match.
Hideous.
Imagine,
made me want to have a stroke.
Imagine looking in just half of a pair of 3D goggles for an entire match. Imagine playing the Virtual Boy by Nintendo for an entire wrestling match. That's what it looked like. It was real bad. Wyatt's win-loss record was abysmal. It really was. They never really wanted to fully pull the trigger on him. And I understand, because at the time they were building up Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan was around. Triple H was still wrestling in some capacity. You still had all of the Shield were main eventers. There was a clogged up main event scene, but there should have been room for him. And it was just like, they really never really did him any favors. And then they would bring him back and he'd really hot. And then they put him in a fucking Mountain Dew blacklight,
or they
colorblind test
or
match.
They put him as the Undertaker's first opponent after losing to Brock Lesnar.
Right, yeah.
The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar beats the Undertaker, loses the streak, and then the next year, one of your top guys, Bray Wyatt's taking on the Undertaker, and you're kind of like, oh, wait, maybe Bray Wyatt's going to get a push, and Undertaker's going to use 2 years in a row. Nah, we're just going to screw Bray Wyatt, tank Bray Wyatt's career some more. Why not?
And then, like, the next year, the Undertaker lost to Roman Reigns. So it didn't matter anyway. I always thought there was just going to be one loss on his WrestleMania record. They just gave him another one. So fuck it. Give him 3 losses to live. All right, and the other thing is, they royally fucked up this match, Mitch. Can I tell you what? First of all, they did it on the West Coast, where it's for television reasons. It's great. It's sunshiny most of the time you're filming. When you don't want the sun to be out, when the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt make their entrances.
Yes.
They could have put it, if they put this match later in the show, the sun would have been down. It would have been fine. Bray Wyatt comes out with a field of fucking human scarecrows in noonday sun. He's walking out and he's got a lantern and he's swinging. It's like, you can't see the white lantern's getting washed out. He's like, I got a lantern. It's like, no, we don't.
We can't see it.
And then the Undertaker comes out, and listen, the Undertaker is great and the entrance is epic. And I've watched it at WrestleMania a bunch of times. And anytime he comes out, it's legendary. But at this one, it was just spooky smoke. Like, he came out and there was his Titantron and all that stuff, and he comes out in the smoke, and there's finally, he's like, rest in peace, God bless America, that kind of stuff.
It would have been better if he did the American Badass riding a motorcycle.
You know what? He should have ridden the motorcycle, because he made the walk down to the ring, and it just looked silly. The sun was shining right down, like a beam of light was shining on him. It was the silly, like, you couldn't make the Undertaker look less spooky or intimidating, no matter how much dry ice smoke you put around him. So yeah, they really.
Okay, Vince, go ahead.
Henry showed up on NXT. I have the video.
I told you about this like 20 minutes ago. He went into a battle royal and was immediately thrown out by Frankie Kazarian. And the funny thing is,
sing Joe Henry somewhere.
The crowd. Oh, did somebody say
Scotland and Canada and Mexico? They say I believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm hearing it in echo right now.
No.
Seriously, because it's on her phone and the TV and now on here. God damn, I'm getting a headache.
I'm so sorry.
I don't care. It beats listening to Taylor Swift. I'm good.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, so Bray Wyatt always got the short end of the stick, and now I don't know, man. They're trying to recreate the magic of this guy. We'll see what happens.
I think what's important, though, is they need, with what you just said, it's important that they put him, or this group, against people that can take a loss. What they often did with Bray's opponents is they had him against opponents that needed a win as well as him.
Yeah. They did that with a lot of guys. They did that with Cesaro and Sheamus and all kinds of mid-card guys that should have been bigger deals. and they just went up against other guys like Seth. Anytime those guys went against Seth Rollins, they were going to lose because Seth Rollins was a main eventer with a terrible, and probably still is, a terrible win-loss record.
I don't know if I agree with that because I think Randy Orton could have taken the loss to Bray Wyatt several times.
Well, yes, 100%. He's a guy that's Teflon. It wouldn't have mattered. So listen, John Cena could have lost to him in WrestleMania. It wouldn't have mattered. Like it would have just been fine.
Well, he did in the Firefly Funhouse match.
Just 3
Greatest
years after.
WrestleMania match of all time.
Oh, get out of here.
But I think a
That's why
majority.
she's 15, Vince. She's young. Don't, she
But I
had
think
Tide
I'm a-
Pods. I can't.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I
I think
I love the kids at my school.
Second greatest match of all time of WrestleMania 40.
I think a majority of those, though, that Bray had, those feuds, Bray needed the win more than the other guy.
A lot of times he did need the win more than the other guy, but they went for some reason they always went the other way. And yeah, just to put a hat on the whole WrestleMania thing, it didn't really get dark till the main event. Ryan was there live. That was the San Francisco, maybe.
Same thing.
Yeah, whatever. They're just 3 hours apart.
Yeah.
But I guess we have time now. Like we really delved into this thing as deeply as I thought we would, and then some. But let's talk about SmackDown real quick because the two biggest things supposedly on SmackDown are Cody Rhodes and a guy that's not even there, Roman Reigns. And Cody, they did that finish at Clash of the Castle. Oh, we didn't even get into Drew and Punk. We'll talk about that with Eric.
Oh
or
my
at
God.
least in Steve's
The
bet.
Cody Rhodes finish was horrible.
Hold
The
on.
Cody Rhodes I
Are we
Quit
gonna
match was. We'll get into the Punk Drew thing later, but the finish was horrible. They literally redid the finish that Edge and Christian did on AEW like a couple months ago.
Yes.
But, like Edge used the spiked bat with the nails in it. So
Yeah, but he had already taken a low blow in the corner,
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody had been hit with it. I mean, they threw a bowling ball at his balls for crying out loud.
yeah, so I get and also like I don't know. Listen, I'm sure she's a lovely woman, like Conchetta Rhodes or whatever her fucking name is, just needs to stay home. Like Mama Rhodes,
You mean Michelle Rubio?
whatever her name, like she just needs to
Conchetta
not.
Rhodes?
I don't know what her name is. I just saw
Michelle.
it.
She's a Cubano. She's Conchetta.
She reminded
Rhodes.
me of the lady from 2.5 Men. What can I say? I don't know. But she's there.
But
all the
I
time.
think what
At
Vince is
least she
saying,
didn't say Will and Grace.
I think what Vince is saying is that she's like she's going to become like Judy Bagwell.
Yes, they're gonna have a fucking Mama Rhodes on a pole match. Like, what are we doing? Like, she needs to. Oh, you've never seen? No. I mean, like a flagpole, not a. Never mind.
Yeah.
Do you mean a stripper pole?
Oh God, Mama Rhodes on the pole. No, that's what would have happened if Cody lost at WrestleMania. She would have had to start stripping.
Wait, you're talking about Terry Reynolds again now? No, sorry.
I know a lot of people that would pay money to see that.
Michelle Rubio.
Mama Rhodes, take it
Have you
off.
seen Twitter? Have you
Are they
seen
thirsty
it?
for Mama Rhodes? See
There's
what
a
I
bunch
could
of freaks on there.
do. Well, of course there are a bunch of freaks on Twitter. I've known
Look at
that for
Mitch's
years.
face like, oh, shit.
But no, I
That's
just
not interesting.
See, Mitch, this is a reason why birth control and condoms are a very important thing.
damn.
Fair enough.
Oh, I love you too, Mom.
But yeah, well, it was
I
so it
don't
was.
feel guilty by that.
This is a pure form of abstinence here.
What's
For real.
abstinence? Hey
Yeah, so they-
Siri. Hey Siri, what's abstinence?
Oh God.
Now I'm
Um,
definitely fired. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah. So Cody's finish at Clash of the Castle wasn't fantastic. The match was whatever. It was there. Like the problem was there was no, as we talked about beforehand, there was no drama. We knew Cody Rhodes was winning, and we knew AJ
Right.
Styles was going to say I quit. So like
Bread.
I don't know. It was whatever. And now I just feel like
Can the Wyatt Six just murder Cody?
I know. There we go. But then Solo, this whole bloodline thing's playing out on the other side where all of these guys, fine gentlemen, I'm sure. Solo is good at what he's doing. Everybody's doing a good job. But the name they're chanting is Roman Reigns. And I know he's coming back. And I know they're teasing that he's coming back. But I just feel like he's so much bigger than those bloodline guys. And when he comes back, even though he's not the champion, he's going to get such a react. Like, it's going to be way bigger than Cody. Like, he's going to be bigger than Cody by the time he comes back, I think.
Absolutely.
That's why I feel like The Rock is pulling the strings for Solo and what he's doing.
Oh, you think that's a whole scheme where The Rock's actually behind, and that's how we get to Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, he keeps saying it's by the orders of the final boss or the tribal chief.
Right. Well,
But the tribal boss is the final chief.
The tribal boss is the final chief.
The Rock, yeah. It was a joke.
You mean the
It
tribal
was a
chief is the
joke.
final-
yeah.
Oh my God. Mitch got it.
I picked up what you were putting down.
Thank
What
you.
you were putting down. Yeah,
And
no,
it's okay if a 15-year-old doesn't get it, as long as the adults in the room get it.
Nah, we're good. We're on the same page. But yeah, I can't really get, and I know I was never up on it anyway, but I can't. The Cody Rhodes World Champion thing is turning out exactly like I thought. It's like the guy's fine, but he's just like
He's boring.
he's exactly, yeah, and they're trying to make him out like Hulk Hogan. He's a real American, and children dress up like him, and they cry like Jesus Christ comes down to the ring every time he's there, and like,
His necktie is just so ridiculous to look at.
all right, can we please? I need to say this. I'm going to speak directly to the camera. Wrestling fans all over the world, WWE fans specifically, when Cody Rhodes was in AEW and he got that neck tattoo and they did an interview the day before the pay-per-view and he was covering it up with a scarf, and the next day he came down to the ring with himself, Brandy, his goddamn dog, the live band playing the song in the background, Diamond Dallas Page, his mom, Arn Anderson, and the entire Bronx Zoo fucking penguin section. Everybody, the first thing they said was, "Hey Cody, your tattoo looks like shit. This tattoo's so goofy, blah, blah, blah." WWE fans ragged on that tattoo for so long, and now they're buying t-shirts with it. And now they have temporary tattoos of it. And it's the most phony. Like, to me, it's the most phony. Yay, he's on our side, so I like this now thing ever. It's like nobody, objectively, I have a lot of tattoos. Objectively, bad placement, bad tattoo. He has a chest tattoo where his neck tattoo should be, and a neck tattoo where his chest tattoo would be.
Exactly.
If you
My
flip
neck
those
tattoos
motherfuckers
are
around-
not big, huge things. If I don't pull my hair back or whatever, you can't see them.
Right, but they're also like contoured to the shape of like he
Of
got
my neck, exactly.
it looked like somebody like when they check in big boxes of mail and they just hit it with a fucking stamp.
Yep.
Yeah, it just looked like they did, and it doesn't matter if it's straight or crooked. Like, it doesn't have to line up with the label or anything. It just has to be on there. So sometimes when you look at a box, it's like the wrong. Yeah, so there's stamps.
It's weird because neck tattoo. Who the frig puts it right here?
And it was so big. I guess supposedly it was supposed to be smaller, and the tattoo artist blew it up bigger before putting it on.
But it's a bad drawing to boot.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what that is. I feel like that's the kind of thing where you draw it on a Post-it note or a napkin one day, and you look at your wife and you go, "Wouldn't that be a cool tattoo?" And then you never get it.
Yeah, like that's how I got
Brian,
this one. But hello, it's just a heart.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, no, I feel like
It's like-
I don't know, dude.
Sorry, it's like people said, "Oh, Mike Tyson has the worst tattoo ever," and Cody's like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, and Mike's tattoo has grown on me over the years.
At least okay, but there's a big difference between
It's become
I've been to
iconic.
jail, I am the baddest motherfucker on the planet, I'll beat the shit out of anybody, Mike Tyson. Who the hell is gonna say, "Hey, Mike Tyson, that looks bad"?
I know that you have to earn a neck tattoo with a certain amount of things
Yeah,
that have
well-
happened in your life.
Well, a face tattoo did, but just
Face and
somebody
neck
gave him
tattoos,
some
yeah.
bad advice when he got that tattoo.
Right. So comparatively, Mike Tyson's tattoo, while it's very large and covers a quarter of his face or more, maybe like a third of his face.
It looks good.
It's done. So
It's done right.
he paid
Yeah.
a very well-known, whose name I don't know right now, very well-known tattoo artist, thousands of dollars to do that tattoo.
Right.
And that person was smart enough to own the copyright of that tattoo. So when like The Hangover or anything else or Mike Tyson's t-shirts use that tattoo logo, that fucking tattoo artist is getting a piece of it every
Right.
single time. He was brilliant. And yeah, it was well done. It's put in well. It's black line tattoos are going to stay. The color's going to look good. You know what I mean? As long as it's sunk in well and tattooed in well, it's going to look great. That one was just like, it's a swing and a miss. And just when people are like, oh, Cody, the American Nightmare and all that, I'm like, you hypocrites. 5 years ago when he got this tattoo, it was the worst thing ever. And now you're cheering.
It's still the worst. Like I said, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan, but I still think that tattoo's the worst.
What did you think of the giant mascot head that he wore at WrestleMania? That was like a 3D representation of his tattoo.
That was a ripoff of Triple H, okay?
Well, of course, because he broke the throne at the first AEW pay-per-view, so we had to suck back up to Triple H by doing the.
Yeah, dude, I thought that looked like something that came out of the Dark Crystal. Wasn't feeling that either.
I mean, I have my Cody Rhodes. I'm okay.
He almost looked like a Deadite from Evil Dead. Like, I don't know.
Yes, there you go. Actually, that's what kind of, now that you say that, that's what Nikki Cross looked like last night. Remember the one that was stuck in the basement?
Oh yeah, steal your soul, steal your soul.
She looked like the one that was stuck in the crawl space.
Yeah, we'll start with Mitch because he is the newest here and he's got he's less cynical than the rest of us. How are you feeling about the Cody Rhodes run? And then
give it time, right?
You know, and the follow-up question will be after you're done with Cody, you can touch on how you feel about the current bloodline people and how that's going.
Yeah. So again, just when I came into watching it, seeing Cody, he's got to finish his story. I feel like there's nothing else to build on, and he's just boring to watch. Personally, like he wrestles well. Like his matches are always good to watch. It's just he bores me. And then the bloodline stuff. I mean, Solo's doing great as the interim boss, but yeah, like Eric said, if it's The Rock pulling the strings, that'll be wild, and that will lead to The Rock Roman, which will be awesome because we need it.
Yeah. Should we give? I'm gonna let Kat talk. Kat, you are more verbose than both of these guys, so I'm gonna let Eric go next, and then have you bring up the rear. And I know Autumn. No, I'm just saying. These guys will speak in sound bites, and you're going to have more to say, and especially with Autumn there, because she's going to chime in too. So I want to give you guys an opportunity. So Eric, your thoughts on the Cody run, and now thoughts on the thoughts on the bloodline.
I don't know. I'm fine with Cody, but I do agree that once he finished the story, there's not that much to do, and but again, it's booking too. It's not just him specifically. But I don't mind it in general. But like we discussed before, they need to get him at least one opponent where you think he might lose the belt, because everybody they're going to throw at him, AJ twice now, Logan Paul, no one's going to beat Cody. Randy Orton is one of those people that you think, oh yeah, Randy Orton is a question mark. He could possibly be a guy, to give people the image of, oh, he might lose.
Yeah, and even if Randy Orton loses, that's fine because
he could take the loss. He's a legend. It doesn't matter.
AJ Styles is a guy that needed a win, and just it did him no favors to lose, and maybe he's trying to slow down his schedule or he's on the way out. But also, like, it didn't give Cody enough as much momentum as they thought it would. They're like, oh, AJ Styles, former world champion, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, yeah, hey, guy that you've booked like shit for the last 3 years. He's not as good at absorbing a loss anymore. And the same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura. You can't have Cody challenge go against Shinsuke. First of all, because Shinsuke's lost against him 37 times, so he could never qualify as number one contender. And B, because he's lost against him 37 times, and even if he was number one contender from the Royal Rumble or the King of the Ring or whatever, he wouldn't win. He wouldn't. Shinsuke has no chance against. There's a long list of guys that just are going to do nothing for Cody. Randy Orton is one of them that can kind of give this thing a shot in the arm, I think.
Yeah, and then as far as the bloodline, like I'm cool with it. I think Solo's doing a great job. Since the introduction of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, it's been great. Paul Heyman is amazing in this role because, like, he's he's more afraid of these guys than he ever was of Roman.
Eric, I gotta
So
ask.
that's at least some credibility to their side. But I think if Rock is pulling the strings, that gives them the credibility they need. Because when Roman comes back,
Right, they
he's
need to
going to
be
be the one, cheered.
they need to be credible opponents for when Roman returns because he's such a big deal. They need to be presented as such too. I got to know, Eric, how many milligrams were the edibles that you took before the show?
I wish.
I wish. I killed Cat. I'm sorry.
But that's pretty
And
much
now
it.
you want me to talk?
I know. I'm sorry. He's got. I love. He's got the cotton mouth too. That's why I asked. I'm like, that to me that sounds like somebody. Listen, as somebody who's dabbled in edibles, let's say, I know that lip smell. That's my mouth is dry because I took like 150 milligrams.
Eric, are you okay, sweetie?
I'm honestly no. I've been like off for several days, so
buddy.
Aw.
All right,
I'm not
man.
doing well.
Just busting.
So that's
balls,
why but that's why like I sound and am acting weird, or at least weirder than I usually.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
wait a
yeah,
minute.
yeah.
Nobody in here is normal.
This is true.
That is true.
I mean, Mitch. I think Mitch is the only normal one.
We
Not
haven't
really.
converted him yet.
Not really. I mean, he is here, so by default, he made a weird. Even if he's a normal person, he made a
We
weird choice.
haven't fully converted him yet. There's still time. He's the Padawan.
Right? Yeah.
Ryan's the intern. Mitch is the Padawan. He'll
What
get
am
there.
I?
The pain in the ass.
I'll take that. I'm your kid.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Kat, and then I guess Autumn can go after you, or you guys can talk each. I don't know how we're going to handle this because I know you.
Rock, paper, scissors?
You know.
Zip it.
Yes, ma'am.
No, there we go. Look at that. Kat wins. What do you think of Cody, and then what do you think of Bloodline?
I've been totally cool with Cody up until this point. I think we even talked about this on Saturday.
Yeah.
The AJ I was perfectly okay with the I Quit match. Yes, we already pretty much knew, bottom line, that Cody was going to win. It was in Scotland, yada, 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 the European fans and everything with their love for him and everything. That's fine. The Michelle thing didn't bother me that much. Been there, done that. But that was probably the stupidest finish I have seen in a very long time to a championship match. So didn't sway me completely that I'm no longer a Cody crybaby, but that kind of put me in a spot like, really, this was the best you can come up with just to secure the win on Cody in an I Quit match. That didn't work for me. Bloodline wise, I'm going to agree with Eric pretty much on what he said. I still like the story. Anything that's got Paul Heyman in it is obviously going to be kicking ass. And someone, which it probably is, The Rock is calling the shots to Solo and everything. And that's going to lead to bigger things coming up within the Bloodline, which will then probably give us then that opponent. Like you said, that there has to be that one huge opponent from Cody. It's coming from that side. So they're filling in space right now. Yes. To lead up to what is going to be the new story that needs to be finished.
With potentially the OG bloodline going against the new Tongan
Correct.
bloodline.
Correct. Which, like I said, I think I've said this a couple weeks ago, is going to lead up to something within War Games.
Yeah, that'll be a good War Games. Did you see? So they're supposedly signing, what's his name? Hikuleo, the big tall guy from the Bull Club. And then there was a rumor going around. There was a screenshot. I don't know. I didn't verify it by looking it up on the federal website. But somebody took a screenshot that looks like it's from the federal website. That looks like WWE trademarked the name Tala Tonga.
Yes.
Talla Tonga.
I heard about this today. Just
Do you
laughing.
know why? Because he's the Tala Tonga. There's Tama Tonga, and then he's Tala.
Yep.
Ha 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 ha. That's a real neat
So are we getting a shorter Tonga eventually?
Could you imagine? What's the Haiti kid doing these days?
I think he's still under King Kong Bundy.
He's under a fold somewhere.
What? I'm confused.
Remember the King Kong Bundy Hillbilly Jim WrestleMania 3?
Oh,
Haiti kid was
Murdered
yeah.
so
My
he's
height.
still way under your height. He's still
No,
under.
my height in kindergarten.
Yeah, your height so he's still under King Kong Bundy.
Is he alive?
I don't
King
know.
Kong Bundy, I think, might be dead, and Haiti Kid, I have no clue.
Took him with him.
Ryan, get into that. Which one of the little people from the WrestleMania 3 match are still alive?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Dave A. So once again, they're just filling time with Cody right now. This is going to be a forgettable reign. And again, Dave A. Supposedly Randy was staring at the belt when he made the save at Clash. Yes, I did see there was a
I saw that,
screenshot.
yeah.
He looked like he was staring over his shoulder down at the belt, which is great if that's what they're leading up to. That could be a good SummerSlam thing for Cody, because then that's a big marquee match. But they have to find an opponent for him for Money in the Bank then, and I don't know who that's going to be.
Is it my turn?
Yes, no, yeah. I wanted to put Dave's comments up so that we acknowledge Dave.
We acknowledge
in
you.
his comments.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with my bloodline thing because I don't want to go on a Cody rant. So basically, bloodline has been boring me lately because one, I only like it because Roman Reigns was in it, not just because I think he's attractive, but like because at least Roman Reigns can talk on the mic. Solo Sikoa, the only good memorable mic moment I have of him is him calling Gunther a B word back in NXT.
Yes.
But otherwise, they're not really doing anything for me. Too many Tongas. There's too many of them.
Tongas.
It's a bloodline, so it's just kind of annoying at this point. So we're getting Tala. There's Tama. How many are there? Jacob Fatu somewhere over the rainbow. We don't know.
Yeah, and what's funny is you're asking that question as more and more of Kat's children pop into frame, and the audience is asking the same thing. How many more are there?
This house is like gremlins. They multiply with water.
I think Mitch just got shocked. Mitch was shocked. I don't think he's ever seen that many children on screen at once.
Yeah, there's 4 of them in this house, Mitch.
Plus 3 cats and 4 fish and a gecko.
But no, 5 fish.
5 fish. No, because there's
3. Oh, there's 4.
4. Because there's 4 kids. You don't have 5.
Yeah, well, if you count your dad, I do.
Oh, there you go.
The doctor, his toes bleeding.
This is wonderful. That's so great. I just know Kat's getting an earful on that end. Oh, and now the kid's about to get an earful. Oh man, you know it's bad news when any adult counts down. You know it's bad news.
I have no idea what the fuck would happen if I got down to 1. Never had to.
I imagine
5, 4, 3, 2, and normally they stop by that because if I get to 1, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, they called my bluff.
You know that screenshot from The Simpsons of who is it? Ralph Wiggum getting thrown through a window, and you just see the back. Yeah, it would be
I'm
that.
in danger.
Yeah, I think it would just be the whatever child thrown through a window.
I scared the shit out of Eric because they were all doing something when he was here or whatever, and I had to ask them a question. No one was answering me, so I go, Brood, front and center. And they all run in the living room and stand up or whatever because the fuck is this? The Sound of Music?
I was just thinking you need the little whistle.
Oh, I just wherever I am, if I say Brood front and center, they all know to come and line up.
Yeah,
and
I'm about to sing.
See, there's one. They,
Oh boy.
Yeah,
and I
Kat,
imagine
I was about to sing Edelweiss.
they all ran into frame, and one of them goes, "And I'm Liesel."
Yes.
Okay, now for my Cody point.
All right, I was just going to say, I know the Cody rant is coming, so let's
Okay, so as everyone knows, I am in love with Cody Rhodes. I'm more infatuated with Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul, which we've all heard that rant.
here comes your next reel, Vince, of my side eyes.
Hold on, no, I gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna back the bus up just a smidge. I had no clue you were this deep into the Cody Rhodes thing, more so than Logan Paul.
I have a hoodie. I don't know if I've shown y'all. Mitch hasn't seen it, but I think Eric and Vince have seen it. I have this Cody Rhodes thing, and it has a piece of the canvas. It's like piece 23 out of 500. Yep. Or whatever.
Wow.
And like I'm obsessed with it. Like I stare at it every night before I go to bed. Anyways,
Do you hope that it's the part of the mat that he kissed and then you kiss it and you're like it's you kissing his lips?
Don't even give her that freaking idea.
I shouldn't have said shit.
No, my
how much have you taken, Vince?
Oh.
You're all following along at home if you're watching the video stream. You're all following along at home.
She got you there.
Anyways, that felt good. Okay.
I can't just delete
snort?
this
She's snorting.
whole. Oh, she's snorting. Excellent. Oh, good. This is good. We can really embarrass her with.
We can work with this on the rails big
Oh, good.
time.
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
anyways, So yeah, the Cody Rhodes reign is kind of boring. I mean, the ending, literally, here's the stairs, and then he literally stands on the stairs again and holds the title, and then it goes to freaking a promo of Jey Uso. Like, I thought Jey Uso was injured, but anyways, besides that point, it's just boring. It's just the same stuff every other week. So what do you guys want to talk about? Someone comes out, blah, 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 yap, 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 yap. I mean, he's hot, but like...
Remind me on Monday night when you feel this, when you're like bowing down to the TV going, that's my husband! That's my husband!
I do that to literally
Wow.
everyone that comes across my TV.
Yeah, so we'll see where this Cody thing goes. I think
Somebody
Randy
get
Orton.
me an edible.
Go to Spencer's. They have them there.
You can definitely get them. But yeah, I think the Cody Rhodes thing is kind of like it needs a shot in the arm, or they just need to take. I'm not saying take the title off him right away, but I mean, like, geez, if by SummerSlam he's like, if they don't pair him up with Randy Orton and really put on a strong performance at SummerSlam, I think they got to think about like pulling the trigger on Gunther or something, man. I don't fucking know.
They just didn't do him any favors with opponents.
They really didn't, and that's a lot of the issue coming out of WrestleMania. Traditionally, coming out of WrestleMania is that the champion. There's so much hype behind the champion. I mean, they literally brought out the production staff and basically took a bow at the end of WrestleMania as like, this was it, guys. That's it. And like they literally had no plan. They're like, we bought you this watch that your dad had to pawn, and then he's like, what am I doing for the next 6 months? And they're like, I don't know, but do you like the watch? Like they had nothing.
What do you want to talk about now?
Exactly. Well, speaking of what I want to talk about now, just to touch on it, because this was the other development that I thought was weird, and then we can talk about it. Drew McIntyre, once again, they sell out a Scottish arena, teasing the fans, taking a feather duster to their ball bag, getting them all riled up, and then pulling it away from them at the last minute.
The ultimate edging.
Yes, they really, without Adam Copeland there, they were edging somehow. They edged the entire Scottish audience and then kicked them right in the beanbag. They got them all. They kicked them with stilettos, and it was bad. No, I don't think they can do another Clash of the Castle. I don't think they can. I think, first of all, the Scottish crowd, from what I understood, the Scottish crowd, I'm so distracted by Autumn Googling things she shouldn't at 15 years old. But anyway, don't
Here,
Google,
help you out.
don't Google CBT. Anyway, the thing with Drew is I don't think they can sell out a Scottish arena now, because from what I read online, there were a lot of fans that were there live and posted on social media. The crowd was completely deflated. They were like, they thought this was the big moment for their guy. And like people had a feeling CM Punk was going to be there and he was going to interfere, but like still they were hoping that the hometown guy was going to take it. And they kind of yanked the rug out from underneath them again. And like, this just leads to me thinking that CM Punk wins the first match in their feud. And that's always been the plan, because otherwise you put the title on Drew and you really make him a guy, like cement him as a guy.
Kind of double turn with them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Punk's gonna play a heel on this. You know what I mean? I think Punk is definitely gonna, because he ruined the guy's moment in his hometown. I don't know how else they can spin that. The other thing I think is weird is they keep doing the meme of the guy next to the gravestone, and I'm just like, man, this is like 40-year-old men memeing, and I'm just like, stop it. Like, what are we doing? But I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Like, no knock on Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest, now that he's won a world title, if he lost it, doesn't really matter. He can blame the loss on the Judgment Day and then feud with them for a little while and split off and do whatever they're going to do. And nothing would, he'd be fine. Drew needed a win in this situation and doesn't look good. Like, and now he comes out and quits on Monday Night Raw, which is like a mirroring of what Punk did 13 years ago or whatever. It just
means that he's going to attack Punk on SmackDown in his hometown.
Right. He had to quit so that he didn't have to be brand exclusive or whatever.
Exactly. I was gonna say I don't know. I loved it. I was in my glory.
Yeah, I just don't know what it does. I just don't think Drew looks good after that. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't. I don't think he looks good. I think he looks like a wimp now.
How does he look like a wimp or how does he look bad? He went out there, he did his best, he got screwed, just like every other wrestler that's the baby face in their country that gets screwed and everything like that.
Goes out there, talks to the mic. Screw this.
Okay, wait,
Screw
did
this
Sam
company.
okay, but did Sammy look like he got screwed when he lost to Roman Reigns in Canada?
When did that
Sammy got real screwed. That
Sammy
was
got
the
screwed,
whole
but not by the support of his fans.
right. No,
He got screwed storyline wise, but that did not stop his fan support.
No,
So that's just going to be more
I'm
people.
always a Drew
That's going to be
McIntyre
more
fan,
people
though.
rallying for Drew now because they think he got screwed, so to speak.
No,
I hope so, because the other option is like they lose hope. They're like, man, this is the guy that almost had his moment all these times and it keeps getting pulled away. Is he
Well,
just
he
a Dolph?
had the crowd last night until he said, "I quit." He had the pop coming in. They all felt bad for him and were cheering for him.
All
His
right, good.
views were way less than what they have been for months.
Just bring back Heath Slater. This will solve everything.
Oh God,
I know. It was so funny because the next words on my mouth were going to be, "Is he another Dolph Ziggler if he can't get the job done? Like he's just going to, if
It
he
should have been me.
and that like is that just going to be his whole career, indicative of his career of like Drew McIntyre was almost the guy several
Well,
times.
No,
miss
no,
Dolph
because
Ziggler.
technically, Drew McIntyre said going into WrestleMania, he said, "I am finally going to have my moment with the crowd." He technically had his moment with the crowd. It just didn't last as long as he wanted it to.
4
He didn't
minutes.
say he was going to be a long reigning champion.
Actually,
He said he was going to have his moment with the crowd.
you want to know what's crazy? Drew McIntyre was champion for 4 minutes, right? He lasted longer than CM Punk's UFC fight or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean that you can always, yeah.
Thank you, Pollyanna.
you're welcome.
I have company, but
I see that.
Hello, company.
we're all right. I'm still here. Like we're rolling. All right. All right.
So then let's wrap
Yeah.
it up. And if you have to go,
No,
sweetheart.
no, they so not to get into the whole thing, but my entire central air system shit the bed last week. And
Oh,
we're currently in the middle of a heat wave,
yeah.
and it's 90 degrees in my house. And I had
Oh.
a air conditioner, one of those ones that like rolls on the ground and like has a little tube to the window,
Mhm.
and that was doing good for a while until like it crapped out. And it's not very old, like it's my parents. They've had it for a couple of years, but not like enough time for it to like crap out. And I think it might have just been overworked because it was so hot in the house. I don't know. So my parents were very nice to install a window AC for me while we were doing this. So if you heard any bings and bongs in the background, that's what they were doing, was installing an AC. And if anybody's feeling froggy out there and they'd like to donate, I will send you the link. I need $12,000 to replace my central air system.
I will start a GoFundMe.
Wait,
for you.
12 grand? Why did they?
Because the entire HVAC heating and cooling system needs to be replaced.
Oh, fudge.
It's not just like they came in, they tried to repair the HVAC 3 different times. I had techs come out 3 different times, and each time they tried a different method of triage, as they called it. And they said there for the symptoms that my thing had, and I saw my doctor, but for the symptoms that the central air system had, there were 3 different things that they could fix, and each one of them might solve the problem. It was leaking
geez.
water out the bottom. It was bad. So they said there were 3 things. Well, they came back 3 times. They tried 3 different things, and all 3 of them didn't work. And they go, well, we tried all 3 of them, which means that this thing is just fucked.
Oh, man, that sucks.
And I mean, the good news is that they're putting in a new system that's supposedly more fuel efficient and more electrical efficient. And
Right.
Great, but also at what cost? I know what cost, $12,000. But yeah. Drew is the modern day Lex Luger from Ryan. Hot take.
I actually like that.
No, I don't like that because he's the reason Miss Elizabeth is dead, and I like Miss Elizabeth, so I don't want Drew McIntyre to be the reason that Miss Elizabeth is dead. Are you kidding me?
They're talking about character-wise, though.
Right? Yeah. We're
I don't
Yeah,
like
we're
him
not-
as a character. I don't like him
They're
as
not.
a
No,
person.
he's not talking about
I'm-
Lawrence
I was-
Polk. He's
I was
talking
gonna say,
about Lex
we're not-
Luger.
we're not talking about Larry.
Bad people.
Can you imagine a guy like that? You live your whole life with the name Larry, looking like that. Come on, I'd go by Lex too. Larry.
He was the cable guy. That's really bad since they died watching she died watching television. Never mind.
God. All right. So, yeah, I mean the Cody thing was we talked about our championship, both of our big champions. We talked about Cody and Priest. We talked about the Bloodline. We talked about the Wyatt Six thing. Are there any other standout things that need to be talked about?
You mean botched Cargill?
Okay. Oh God. Oh Lord. All right. So
The only thing good about that was the way she looked at the entrance. That's it.
That was
all
the
right.
worst. And she's been pretty bad since she debuted. But the fact that she's getting worse with every match and not better. And oh my God, Mitch, I want your dog.
Oh, yes, this is Max.
Oh,
Hi, cutie boy.
Oh my God.
my goodness.
Hello, little one.
All right, I'm gonna clean up the dog. Cool.
Yeah, so listen, it was really funny that the WWE Defense Force was like working overtime this weekend after two different people did both, namely Damian Priest and Jade Cargill, botched rope moves. The ropes were slippery, the ropes were loose, blah, 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 blah. And then after all that work and mental gymnastics by WWE fans, Shayna Baszler just goes, "Well, Zoe Stark pulled it off and nobody else did. So what do you mean bad ropes?"
Way different way though with how Damian Priest sold it and took care of it though, and the way Jade Cargill sold it and took care of it.
Yeah, and this is
Damian Priest was a professional about that shit and hammed it up, and him and
right. They found yeah. Although, did you notice? Good on Drew, but it's it definitely breaks character. As soon as he got caught in it, Drew ran over. He he was back.
You okay?
Yeah, I mean that was great that they all checked on him, but
But they stayed right. He broke the fourth wall for about 30 seconds.
And I think you know what? If you were fighting somebody, realistically, if you were fighting somebody and some wild shit happened, like if you were in a back alley and an anvil fell on somebody, you'd be like, "Dude, are you okay?" Like,
you're what the fuck? Yeah, I wanted to be the one to take you out, not this.
Right. And that's kind of why it makes sense for Drew to not be completely like just fucking let him hang. He wants to beat him legit. My point being with Jade. It's okay. I think it's perfectly fine that this other team won. They were in Scotland, so at least Scotland got a hometown victory, new champions. And maybe this leads to them finding a way to like have the two, Bianca and Jade feud somehow and maybe write Jade off for a little while, send her down to NXT, send her down to the Performance Center because God love her.
Send her to catering.
She's got a great look. She comes out, she looks fantastic, but in the words of our good friend Bruce Pritchard, and then the bell rang. And it just
All the nerves.
she's not getting it. And you know what? Maybe it's a bigger venue. You know what I mean?
But she wasn't doing anything to write home about that much in AEW either.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, she had a couple good matches, but again,
A couple. How long was her reign?
like 18 months.
Yeah, so she should have had more than a couple.
Oh, I know, but my point being, it was a smaller pond, so she had there were lower expectations as well. When you debut in AEW and you're pretty new, there's an expectation of like, okay, this person's new. We're just kind of they're trained. She signed to WWE. You didn't see her on television for months. There's all these reports that she's in the Performance Center and she's watching tape and she's drinking the Rock's whatever branded protein powder to get in shape. Like she's doing all the WWE things that you need to do to get in shape.
She found some IcoPro.
Yeah, she dusted off the IcoPro. And it was all behind Vince McMahon's desk. He was hoarding it. And then when they cleaned out his office, they gave her the IcoPro.
That explains a lot.
Oh. Okay.
Just mount. He would, word is that Vince McMahon would take expired IcoPro from 1993 and snort lines of it off of his desk. No. Ryan wants to steal Mitch's dog. Ryan wants a corgi. I think that's his next dog. So yeah. Yeah,
sassy.
dude.
Very sassy.
Very sassy. That's how those things are. But yeah, Jade, she needs more time. And again, DDP started late. A lot of people started late and had good success. She needs more training. Go ahead, Autumn.
I have some things to say about my girl Jade. As y'all know, I had a very big temper tantrum on the show a little while back because I found out Jade Cargill lost on this show. Thanks.
Oh, did you not watch Clash at the Castle?
No. Remember when she lost the
Oh.
championship in AEW?
Oh,
And I-
yes.
Yeah, you
I'm
got.
sorry.
Yeah, we spoiled
Yeah.
it for her.
Because I didn't watch it because I went to bed because I had school. Yeah.
Wicket, what are you doing?
Anyways,
Cat's going wild.
I'm very mad that Zoe Stark did not win because I say Zoe Stark should be the women's champion. Steve, I'm sorry, you can fire me too, but I love Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark for president.
Zoe Stark.
Exactly. Thank you, Rosie. Who's Zoe Stark?
That's what everybody asks every time she's on screen. Who's that?
Zoe who?
Steve's girlfriend.
Yeah, of course. Steve's the love of his life. Yeah, this is where we all get fired.
He'll think we're done already. It's after 10 o'clock, so it's all
Of course. No, but yeah, so we're all right. I guess we touched on Jade. She needs more time, dude. Like, I think I know with her look and her size and the hype behind her that they were going to put her right on the main roster and give her a WrestleMania moment and all that stuff. And that's all well and good, but like, she's just not there yet, man. She's just not at the point where you want her to be considered a contender for one of those titles. She's just not there yet.
I think she peaked in AEW and then lost it, and now she's just a low card, mid card wrestler.
If that's her peaking when she was in AEW, then she does it. Then Mark Henry needs a refund.
No, literally the other day, me and Mom watched like an interview that Chris Van Vliet did with Mark Henry, and how like he discovered her and he sent her to, I forgot what the dude's name was, but he hit Jade as hard as he could, and she said, "Is that all you got, old man?"
Yeah,
and,
she pulled a sensational Sherry.
and that's how she got into the wrestling business or whatever. But yeah,
On
Yeah.
the plus side, she's still
How
better than
entertaining they are
Eva
with
Marie.
yeah, they love me. Sure, totally.
What'd you say about Eva Marie, sweetie?
On the plus side, Jade is still better than Eva Marie.
Everyone's better than Eva Marie. I have more talent.
That is
I have more
true.
talent in my pinky.
That's
finger.
yet to be determined, though, because Eva Marie's never had a match that lasted more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Mom, I have more talent in my pinky finger than Eva Marie does in her whole body.
Mitch, don't worry. You're not missing anything not knowing who Eva Marie is. I promise.
You don't want to know who she is.
All read everything.
Not missing much.
Jeez. Willie Mays died.
Yes, that came in about an hour ago.
man.
Oh man, I just saw the okay. Say
That
hey,
was me
Willie
that
Mays.
posted it on Facebook.
Damn.
I found out, and that's why I went like this, and then I got up to go tell my dad, but my dad's sleeping, so we'll find out.
Are you afraid?
Yeah, dude, Willie Mays was legitimately one of the best. 93 years old. God bless him. But he was one of the best, man.
Yeah. I didn't think we wanted to do a death live on the air, so that's why.
I know, but I saw it. I was like, oh boy. And then I Googled it because you never know, because they always have those things now where it's like, look what happened to Sly Stallone. And I'm like, not Sly, not again.
Yeah, no, I waited till
always
TMZ
fake.
posted it before I posted it.
And Newsbreak.
If TMZ doesn't post it, then I don't
Yeah,
post it.
this morning's was the Justin Timberlake thing.
That's real.
Well, that was real, though.
the DWI in the Hamptons. That's
No,
real?
I know. I'm just saying as far as like news.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
I got that on Sachem Patch, actually, before that even hit anything. The Long Island newspapers were covering that
Oh,
before
of course, the
TMZ
local
did.
news is all over a celebrity getting a D
And
week. Of
we're
course.
not even we're not even on Long Island anymore. We get the Long Island tea before the people on Long Island get the tea.
I wonder, do you think that when they gave him the breathalyzer test and he failed it, they go cry me a river?
Huh.
I told you. You were
Somewhere.
so mad at me for doing that joke this morning. It's not just me.
Apparently he pulled a do you know who I am?
Well, of course he did.
Of
But
course
you
did.
also don't have to. If you're Justin Timberlake, you don't have to do it. Do you know who I am? Everybody knows who the guy is.
I know you're not Billy Joel, and that's the only person
But
we
I
give a
think
shit
the
about
cop-
on Long Island.
The
Sorry.
cop apparently was
Exactly.
was very young and didn't know who he was.
I'm sorry.
It was Sag Harbor. Of course they didn't know.
Well, I'm sorry, but he hasn't been relevant. In
He's a couple of
That's
$1 million
true.
too short for Sag Harbor.
Oh, that's true. Maybe he's just in a lower tax bracket. I didn't think about that. The sheer number of people. I mean, Howard Stern lives in the Hamptons. That's the kind of.
Right, but he was out north of Hamptons in Sag Harbor. Sag Harbor is like 10.2 million. That's how much you got to have to even to be even noticed in that area.
You know,
He don't got he's not.
Do you remember who me and Pop saw when we went to the Hamptons?
Mm.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he got dinged for something.
They always do, but it's when they're out there or whatever. But like
What
I said,
else
there's
is
just
new?
too much. But like SAG Harbor money, they don't give a shit about celebrities. It's
Mm.
their own money. So if you get dinged out there, they don't.
If Joe
set-
Hendry got dinged out there,
Right.
I'd actually cry because I would.
They-
I
yeah, well, they
believe
definitely
in
wouldn't
Joe
know who that is.
Hendry.
Joe Hendry would be shining shoes out there.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
All right. I think we've covered it. We've said it all. I think we've covered everything we need to cover. I would like to one time do a whole lot more AEW stuff. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm really liking what they're doing, where Swerve is going, and everything's just clicking right now. And I feel like AEW needs to get a little attention as well. So we'll have to make some time for that. But geez. Well, yeah, we don't have anything else to talk about, right? We're good. All right, perfect. So if you aren't sick of my voice, you can tune in 7:20 a.m. tomorrow, 99.1 PLR if you're in Connecticut, or WPLR.com if you are abroad. And then you can find my my appearance on Chaz and AJ in the morning. I'm starting there 7:20 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be there until 10. Who knows what we'll talk about? It'll be an interesting time. But if you'd like to follow us here, best way is all of our social media at Tag Me a Date, at Tag Me a Date, no spaces. It's all one word. We're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and everything else under that at Tag Me a Date. If you're on YouTube and you type Tag Me a Date into the search bar, you'll find our page. Please hit subscribe and then the bell to get notified when we go live or when we upload a new video. We go live Tuesdays, 9 p.m. at Eastern time. We're also on broadcasting live on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/war report. That's also all one word, twitch.tv/WARREPORT. And all the other streaming platforms are Twitter, which is Tag Me a Date, YouTube, Tag Me a Date, Facebook, Tag Me a Date, my personal Facebook, because the fan pages aren't working right now, and Steve's LinkedIn. So if you're on any of those, you're good. Basically, what we encourage you to do is whatever platform or website you're on or app you're using, just use that next week, 9 p.m. Eastern time on a Tuesday. Just use it. And you don't have to worry about all the other channels. Just however you consume it, that's how you consume it. Speaking of, if you like the audio version instead of the video version, you can go to your favorite podcast apps such as Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts. You type in The War Report, you type in Tag Me a Date. You should find us. And there are 2 podcasts called The War Report, both about pro wrestling. Ours has been around for a lot longer. And, we'll have it in the graphic. We'll have the picture. The picture was going to kind of look like that, I guess, something with the War Report logo on it. And it says Steve and Vince and everybody. And you'll know it's us. So you can subscribe, and then Ryan takes the audio within the hour of the show being off the air, puts it on the podcast app, so you can take it wherever you want with your tablet or mobile device, and you can take it in your car if you're on a road trip or wherever you need to take it that day. Throw in a pair of earbuds and listen to the War Report. I appreciate Ryan, Dave, and David for all chiming in. David, Roska, I hope you're having fun watching the Stanley Cup. We'll talk to you next week. I'm sure you'll have a recap of what happened with the Stanley Cup and maybe something else about Mary Lou Retton. We'll see. And Dave, of course, thanks for the insight. Ryan, thanks for keeping us. Ryan had some bangers in there today too. So everybody, great comments. As usual, if you like the show, share it on your page. Share it with your friends. If you know people that like pro wrestling, I think they'll like the show. It's just a bunch of friends chatting it up. So we love pro wrestling. We love having people in the comments live during the show. Kind of fueling the conversation with their comments and their questions. So thank you guys again for commenting, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. We'll be back at 9 p.m. on Eastern time on a Tuesday for another edition of the War Report, brought to you by Tag Me a Date. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great night, and I remembered this time that I'm the one that has to hit the button, so I'm going to do that now. See you next week, everybody.